Hello everyone. Right now we are going to start coding, but before starting coding we have to set up the structure for starting the coding, and therefore I'm requesting you to create a folder on your computer. You can create a folder on desktop or you can create a folder inside your drive. So let me create one. Okay, so here is my folder and the name of my folder is HTML and CSS. And after creating a folder, you have to enter inside the folder, and right now my folder is totally empty. So I want to create a text document inside this empty folder, and that's why you have to create a right button click from your mouse, then you will get this new option, and here is the text document. This is an application of Notepad. So I'm picking this text document for creating a file. So here is my file and I want to rename my file name as index. So let me type index. Okay, let me hit the enter button from my computer. So you can ask me a question, why the file name is index? I can write any name, but why I written index name? Let me explain you in details. This is the website, and when I'm writing this web address in my browser, that is canaansteve.xyz, this page appears first because this is our home page. But if you take a look in here, we have more for menu like videos, place to visit, about, contact. So this could be the different pages. So when I run this website in my browser, this page comes first because this is our landing page, or you can call this page as your home page. So the home page are indicating with index extension, or it indicates with the name of index. That's why we used index name, but till yet we didn't apply the extension. So the summary is, if you want to create a website, you could have more than one page. You could have 10 page, you could have 20 page, or you could have 100 page on your website. But you have to determine which page will load first on the browser, and that page should be named as index. That's why we created the index file. Okay. Now we will learn about the extension. So this is our file, and right now this file have the txt extension because this is a notepad. But as we are learning HTML, that's why we have to change the extension. And for changing the extension, you have to click this file menu, and from there you have to click on this save as option. So let me click this save as option. So you can take a look over here. In here we have extension right now for this index file, that is .txt. That means it's a text file, but we want to change the extension, and that's why I want to write after index, I want to write .html. Okay, so I just written in here index.html, and let me click save option. And you can take a look inside my folder, and another file is created. So this is the text extension and this is the HTML extension. And you can take a look over here. The type is showing Microsoft Edge HTML document. So this is what we are looking for. So as we need the HTML extension, we got that, and that's why I am deleting this index file. Okay, but I have still the HTML extension. So this is the easiest way for creating a HTML extension, and right now we are going to start editing. So right now we have our index file with HTML extension, or you can call it as a file format. So now you can start coding in this index file with any editing or coding software. So if you have NetBeans, if you have Sublime Text, or if you have Dreamweaver, you can start coding. But if you don't have any software, you can still start coding with your default Notepad. So right now, if you click in this index extension, then a browser will be opened. So here is the browser, and only the browser is just open, but we don't have anything else because this is the HTML extension. But if you want to edit what you will follow without any software, if you don't have any editing software on your computer, or if you are just absolute beginner and if you don't have any previous knowledge for using of editing software, in that case you can still use that. So for editing, you just have to right click with your mouse, then you will get this open with option, and here is the Notepad option. This is the default application of Microsoft. So let me click this Notepad. So here a blank frame just opened, and if you want to start coding using the Notepad, in that case you can still use this Notepad option for coding, and you have to follow the structure of HTML and you have to write the code in here. But I don't want to use this Notepad, that's why I'm closing this Notepad application. I want to use Visual Studio Code for HTML coding. So let me open my Visual Studio Code software. Okay, this is my Visual Studio Code software, and how you will download, I told you before about this website. So you just have to download this software from the website, and this is the interface of the Visual Studio Code. And when you will use a Visual Studio Code, your coding will be easier because the number of suggestion you will have in here, it will provide you a live server, and it's really very friendly for the programmers, and this is really one of the most widely using coding software right now. Okay, so before starting the coding, you have to add some extensions, and for adding some extensions for making our task easier, you just have to click in this setting option in here, then you will get this extension option. So let me click this extensions, and in here you have to search live server. Okay, so this is the live server extension, and you can take a look. A number of people already installed this extension, so you just have to install it. I already installed in my software, so you just have to install this live server extension. Okay, so when you will use this live server extension, in that case it will help you to preview your code. So what code you will type, you will have that live in the browser. That's why we are using this live server. Okay, so let me close this extension part, and here is the option called Explorer. So now what we have to do, we have to open our index file that we created, and that's why we have to open a folder first. So let me close this extension. Okay, and for open the folder, you just have to click this file menu, and from there you have to go for the open folder option. So let me click this open folder option. Then a pop-up will appear, and where you kept your folder, you just have to select that folder. That means the index file are present, you have to select that folder where index file is located. So my index file is located inside the HTML and CSS folder. That's why I'm just selecting this folder, and here is the option for select folder. So let me click select folder. Okay, and now you can take a look that index.html, that file is present in here. So now if we click in here, we will be able to start editing in this field. So this is what we are looking for. So now we will start coding. So at first we have to set up the structure, because HTML have a structure, and if you want to make visible your content or your text to the browser, in that case you must have to follow the structure. And now we're going to set up the structure. And if you use the Visual Studio Code, and for set up the structure, you just have to type this exclamation mark and then you have to hit the tab button from your keyboard. Again, I'm telling you, exclamation mark, you have to type it, then you have to hit the tab button. So let me hit the tab button, and here is, you can take a look, the structure of the HTML is appeared. So this is the one of the most helpful things in Visual Studio Code, because Visual Studio Code will make your task easier. So we just pressed exclamation mark and we just press the tab button, and the necessary structure or code that is provided by the software. So let's take a look from the line number 1. So this is the line number. So at the first line number 1, we got the doc type. So what is doc type? Doc type is a short form of document type. So every HTML file should be must start with the doc type. And let me show you with an example. This is a website, and if you take a look to the source code of this website, and for watching the source code, you just have to press Ctrl and U button from your keyboard, and those who are using Mac, you have to press Command and U button. So this is the backend coding or source code of this website. Okay, this is the front end, or this is the design part, but this is the source code or backend part. So at first you can take a look over here. Here is the doc type in line number 1, doc type. So as I said, every HTML file should be start with this doc type, and the doc type is the information for the browser about the document type. So the document type is HTML. That's why we are using this doc type at the first of the HTML files. Okay, let's get back to our Visual Studio Code. Okay, then the next things comes, that is the HTML lang. That means the language of the HTML. By default, we are using English, and here is the form of English that's called EN. Therefore, we are going to keep this English language as our HTML language, and it's a default language. Now we have to move to the most important part, that is tag. So you can take a look, we have a head text in here inside the less than and greater than sign. This is called tag. So a tag are start with the less than sign and closed with the greater than sign, and the tag contains in between these two signs. But when you will create a tag, you must have to use the closing tab. That is, we have the head tags in here. This is the starting tags, and we still do have the head, and this called the closing tags. So we have a small difference between the opening tag and closing tag. Opening tag have less than character text and greater than character, and for closing tag less than character oblique text and then greater than character. So for closing, you just have to use this oblique sign or oblique character, and with the using of this oblique sign, the tag are going to be closed. So when you will open a tag, you must have to close the tag. So here the head tags are created in here, and here the head tag closed, and inside the head tag we placed the different type of elements in here, or different type of information in here. So at first, what we are going to take a look over here, that is called title. So what is the title? Let me show you with an example. So this is a website, and you can take a look over here. We have online courses and skill 4. We have a text over here. So this is the title of the site. That means at the browser tab, what will be your site title? You have to type the title in here. So right now I am going to run this code as a live server in a browser. In that case, it will be clear to you. And for running this code to a browser, you just have to right click with your mouse in a blank space, then you will have this option called Open with Live Server. So let me click on this Open with Live Server. Okay, you can take a look. In here, the document text appears. Do you know why document text is present at the browser tab? Because the title has the document text in here. So I want to change this document tab and I want to delete this document tab. So we have the title tag in here and we have the title closing tag in here. So inside the opening and closing tag, I am going to write, this is my first website. Okay, and now I want to run in a live server. So therefore you just have to right click with your mouse and here is the Open with Live Server. Okay, now you can take a look. This is my first website. Few moments ago we had document text in here and I just changed the text and my site title is changed. So now you have the idea how the site title is working. Okay, so if you want to type the title for your website, you have to put the title in between the title tag. But you can ask me a question, is these things are necessary? In that case, the answer is 50-50. So if you are a programmer, in that case, you can keep these things on your HTML file. But if you don't want to keep these things, you can do that. So as an example, I am going to delete the first line and second line from here. So I'm just deleting this first doc type and HTML language. These two lines I'm deleting in here. And now I'm going to run this file in my live server. So you just have to right click with your mouse. Here is the Open with Live Server option. And you can take a look, we have the title in here. But if we check the source code of this file, then we will have the idea. So let me open the source code, and that's why you have to press Ctrl and U button from your computer. And now you can take a look. Right now we don't have the doc type and the HTML language. This two line is invisible from here, but still we have the title in here. So if you are a beginner and if you are not expert for typing the first structure, in that case you can exclude that first two line, but keeping the first two line is a good practice. Okay, let's get back to our Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I want to keep that two line. That's why I want to use the undo option, and for undo you just have to press Ctrl and Z button from your computer, then you will have the first two line back. Okay, so we have our title inside the head tag, and you can take a look, we have head tag. That means all the elements or all the other tag for head will be placed inside the head tag. And so this is the head tag, and inside this head tag we still have the title tag. So here is the title tag. So we just written the title, but we didn't practice yet. So let's practice. I want to delete this line number 7 title. I want to delete these things, and now I want to write myself, and that's why you have to type the lesson character first, then you have to type TI. So you can take a look, when I just pressed TI, Visual Studio Code show me some suggestions. So instead of typing the entire tag, you can just choose this one. So let me choose this title from here. This is the facility of Visual Studio Code, and now we have to use the greater than sign, And when I placed the greater than sign, Visual Studio Code automatically closed the tag. And you can take a look, this closing title tag is automatically appeared. And what we have to do, we have to type our title in between this opening tag and closing tab. And now I am going to write inside this title tag, I am going to write, this is my own written title. Okay, cool. Now I want to run these things in my live server. Let me run this code in my live server. And here you can take a look. This is my own written title. So we just changed the title and we just practiced how you will write the title. And remember, always your title will be appear in the browser tab. So this is my Edge browser, and the title what I written inside the code, that's present in the browser tab. And this is how title are working. Okay, so the title and title tag is placed inside the head tag. So this part is basically for head, or you can consider this head part as your title part. The next thing is the body. Let me open in my live server. Okay, this is the title part, and in here whatever we will type, whatever we will place, we have to place for this blank space, we have to type the code inside the body tag. So this is the body tag, and we have to type everything for our page, for this blank space, or for this website, or for this blank area, whatever we want to place, we have to type inside the body tag. Okay, now we are going to type some text inside the body, and we are going to fill that empty space.